All right, good evening, everyone. I call the City Council meeting for March 8th, 2023 to order. I don't know why everybody's here for something, but at this time, we'll have a moment of silence. A lot of things to think about, Ukraine, and many other things around our nation and world. So let's have a moment of silence to think about whatever you need to think about. Thank you. Alderman McGinnis, if you'd please lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Alderwoman McGinnis. Mr. Krupp, our Deputy City Clerk, please call the roll for this evening.
Dunn.
Here.
Kelly.
Here.
McGinnis.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Grip.
Here.
Condon.
Here.
Cornett.
Here.
Dickman.
Here.
Jobson.
Here.
And Ortez.
Here.
10 present, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. So again, good evening, everyone. As we begin the meeting of the City Council, I want to welcome everybody in attendance and anybody who's watching through any particular electronic device. We respectfully welcome your comments and opinions, but please keep in mind that as you share your thoughts, you're sharing them with your fellow Davenporters and anybody throughout the region. We're happy that you're participating in your city government, but ask that your participation please reflect the common desire we all share to make Davenport a better place. And for folks in here, there's a few of you, I know you want to take pictures and everything, but if you just put your cell phone on silent, don't turn it off because I know you want to take your pictures, but just be respectful who's talking. If you want to address the council, if you're staying after the presentations, address the council on any particular item, please come to the podium, the microphone's above you. You'll have 5 minutes. Love to know your name, ward, or address, and if you're not from here, we'd love to know where you're from. When you address the council, please address us as a body and not as any individual, and we'll be respectful of you. Please be respectful of us. Thank you. Will an alderman please move approval of the City Council meeting minutes for February 22nd, 2023?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. That carries. City Administrator Spiegel, anything for us tonight?
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
Very good. Will an alderman move approval of the committee report on the Committee of the Whole for March 1st, 2023? Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. We have two appointments and proclamations this evening. The two appointments, I'll read both and then ask for a motion to approve. First is to the Civil Rights Commission, Frank Holly is a new appointment, and the Zoning Board of Adjustment, Jeff Blowmaker, is a new appointment. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. And then we have two proclamations, Women in Construction and National Kidney Month. First one is Women in Construction. Alderwoman McGinnis will read. Alderwoman McGinnis, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. City of Davenport, Iowa proclamation. Whereas the National Association of Women in Construction, NAWIC, Quad Cities Chapter number 50, has distinguished itself for 60 years as the voice of women in construction in the Quad City area, and whereas the work done by NAWIC Quad Cities Chapter number 50 has benefited Davenport through community development and educational programs, and whereas NAWIC Quad Cities Chapter number 50 has unceasingly promoted the employment and advancement of women in the construction industry, and whereas the construction community represented by NAWIC Quad Cities Chapter number 50 has been a driving force in fostering community development through renovation and beautification projects, promotion of skilled trades careers, and a positive vision of the future, and whereas NAWIC Quad Cities Chapter number 50 has sought to achieve successful results for Davenport, Iowa, and surrounding areas in a cooperative spirit with other organizations. Now, therefore, we, Mike Matson, Mayor, and the City Council of Davenport, Iowa, do hereby recognize NAWIC Quad Cities Chapter number 50 and its many dedicated volunteers for its steadfast work on behalf and in support of women in construction, and do hereby proclaim March 5th through 11th, 2023 as 2023 Women in Construction Week in the City of Davenport, and encourage our citizens to congratulate the organization on its many accomplishments. Dated this 8th day of March, 2023, I move the proclamation. All in favor? Aye. and it passes. And I would like to ask, please, and this is very fitting, today is the International Day of the Woman, I believe, and so very fitting today, and I would like to ask Stephanie Hintermeister, President of NAWIC Chapter 50, Heather Stocking, Shaw Electric, and Becky Avis with Bruce Builders to meet me at the podium, please. You're here tonight.
Thank you very much.
Here's your proclamation. And if you'd like to say something, please go ahead. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
just get a picture.
Yeah, you
Sorry.
gotta be in. Oh. Oh, boy. Oh.
On behalf of Quad Cities Chapter 50, I would like to thank the City of Davenport, Mayor Mattson, and the City Council members for this proclamation for our 2023 Women in Construction WIC Week. NAWIC's mission is to enhance the success of women in the construction industry. We provide awareness of the opportunities available to women and emphasize the growing role of women in the construction industry. WIC Week is a time for local chapters to give back to their communities. Chapter 50 does so during the year through its scholarship program, and by partnering with local agencies such as Humility Homes and Services, Quad City Engineering and Science Council, Winnie's Place, and the Girl Scouts of Eastern Iowa and Western Illinois. This year, we are supporting Our Grows House. We collected daily necessity items and volunteered our time at Our Grows House this past Saturday, March 4th. Thank you again for your support.
Thank you. The next one is National Kidney Month, and Alderman Ortiz will read. Alderman Ortiz, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, proclamation reads, whereas March is National Kidney Month, a time to raise awareness about the importance of kidney health, and whereas statistics provided by the National Kidney Foundation state that approximately 1 in 3 Americans are at risk for kidney disease. While 37 million people have diagnosed chronic kidney disease, 660,000 people live with kidney failure, and approximately 100,000 people are currently awaiting a kidney transplant. And whereas it is crucial that attention be brought to this often overlooked but increasingly common disease, major risk factors include diabetes, high blood pressure, a family history of kidney failure, and being over the age of 60. And whereas, if left untreated, kidney disease can lead to kidney failure, and whereas early detection and treatment of kidney disease could result in fewer Iowans requiring dialysis treatments or transplantation, and whereas the National Kidney Foundation represents Davenport patients, transplant recipients, and people affected by kidney disease and their family members. And whereas the National Kidney Foundation is the leading organization in the United States dedicated to the awareness, prevention, and treatment of kidney disease for hundreds of thousands of healthcare professionals, millions of patients and their families, and tens of millions of Americans at risk. And now, therefore, we, Mike Mattson, Mayor, and the City Council of Davenport, Iowa, do hereby proclaim March 2023 as National Kidney Month in the City of Davenport, and call upon the citizens of Davenport to take care of their kidneys and to seek testing if they are at risk, dated this 8th day of March 2023. I move the proclamation. Second. We have a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Proclamation carries. Could I meet Denise Eisters? She serves on the Board of Advisors for the National Kidney Foundation, serving Iowa.
Thank you so much.
I get to be lucky to take a picture with you.
Yeah, just a few words. Good evening. Thank you so much to the mayor and the city council for this proclamation. It means so much to me, both professionally as a nurse and personally, which I'll mention later. I think the proclamation said so succinctly what needs to be said. Kidney disease is the fastest growing non-communicable disease in this country. 37 million, and currently 1 in 7 people have kidney disease. When you think about that, that translates into 15% of adults. The risk factors, and I have to repeat these because they're so important: diabetes, high blood pressure, family history, certain minority groups, and I qualify older age. The blood test is simple. To be perfectly honest, it's usually one that is included with a routine laboratory tests that are being done. The kidneys are vital. As I used to tell my students, I used to teach nursing, your kidneys don't just make you want to ask the teacher for a hall pass to the closest restroom. They actually regulate your blood pressure. They help regulate, they clean your blood. They help make red blood cells. And they keep your bones healthy. I mean, they affect every single organ in your body. The good thing is it can be prevented and progression can be slowed. So get tested and know your risk factors. Just as an aside, my late husband, who died of something else, was on home hemodialysis for 25 years. And in that time, he was very active in the community with United Way, JC's, Alzheimer's Association, worked full-time. This is our goal, to have people get tested and get the best choice for their treatment possible to make them live the life that they want to live. Thank you again so much. This is so awesome. It's very meaningful.
All right, next we have probably one of the top days we have every year in the city, the recognition of some wonderful students. As I said upstairs to the group, recently the Quad City Symphony hosted over 6,000 fourth graders from around the area. The other night we had our Davenport schools do their show choir show off, and what an amazing performance. And then of course tonight we get to recognize some wonderful artists. So the artists, the cultural events, the students overall in our community in Davenport, in the school district, are just awesome. Sometimes we hear a few little things about somebody not doing what they're supposed to do, but my gosh, the amount of students that are doing wonderful things, and I'm just so proud to have another night like tonight to recognize some. So I want to recognize Dan Gosa, the president of the school board I see in the back, and Karen Klein, Jerome, the vice president I see in the back. I saw TJ Sneckloff, the superintendent, and I apologize if there's others that my eyes just didn't catch, but thank you for coming. So first, again, I want to thank the students, families, teachers, principals, and school staff that are doing the work and supporting these young kids in the art that they so believe in and enjoy. So school board members, parents, teachers, everybody that supports these kids. Steve, who's going to read the names, Schwegler, the Fine Arts Curriculum and Instruction Specialist for the Davenport Community School District, oversees the collection. Special shout out for me to Tiffany Thorndock and Samantha Torres, always, who does great work, so we get to talk about it, but they do all the work for us. So this is the 12th year for art in City Hall. Again, very excited to have the students, families, and staff from the district here at City Hall to celebrate the amazing talent. Again, just another example of the amazing talent in our city. Art in City Hall started in 2011 to celebrate Youth Art Month. March is Youth Art Month and is a celebration of the visual arts. We have 20 pieces of art displayed upstairs. They'll be upstairs for a year, and we thank you very much for allowing us to do that. One student's artwork from each school was selected by a respective teacher to be on display, and we're going to recognize those young people here right now. So, Steve, I'll meet you, Samantha, Jerry. And again, I said upstairs, parents, as your students called it, if you want to, prepare and then get up here to take a picture. And then at the end, we're going to have a big group picture in front of the city council, so know that. So we'll take our time. Bear with us on taking pictures. This is a big moment for them, so we want to make it a good night. So.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Steve Schwegler, and I'm proud to serve the Davenport Schools as the Fine Arts Curriculum and Instruction Specialist. And thank you for your help in celebrating Youth Art Month. The 2022-2023 theme is Your Art, Your Voice. Thank you, Davenport City Council, for this partnership with the Davenport Community School District, for directing attention to the value of art education, for encouraging commitment to the arts by students, community organizations, and individuals everywhere, and for increasing the community's understanding and interest in art and art education through involvement with this exhibit. I would also like to mention that since this past fall, the Central High School Creative Arts Academy has been collaborating with the Davenport Historical Preservation Commission to learn more about the buildings that students and teachers are visiting as part of our grade level outreach program at the elementary level. Those buildings include the Figge, Common Chord, which is the Peterson Building, and the Adler Theater. In our elementary art grade 4 curriculum, we have an entire unit on community landmarks. Work in future years could see the additions of more historic downtown Davenport locations prepared and presented by our media arts students and shared with Davenport Schools elementary art educators when discussing historic buildings and their importance and uniqueness with their students. In fact, many of these 4th grade student works of art end up here at City Hall. And we're glad to help celebrate that exhibit. Thank you, students and art educators, for your work and being here tonight. Thank you to our Davenport Schools administration, school board, and building principals for your support of fine arts education. And thank you, parents, families, and friends, for being here to celebrate your students and their work and accomplishment of being selected for this honor. Now on with the awarding of certificates. And if we could have the students come on up when your name is called, along with, I will also recognize the teacher and parents and all guests of the supporting that student, if you would also stand when your student is presented. So our first person we're going to represent here, and you'll see their artwork displayed over here, if you can see the screen, is Colton Bogosian. So if Colton, come on up.
Come on over here. Yep, when your name's called, just come up to me.
Art educator is Mr. Clint Balser. And this photo makes me feel as if the lines are directing me somewhere, almost like they have a destination that I've never seen before. Next is Brendan Crispin. Art educator is Stacy Jeffrey from Mid-City High School. And for this piece, I was inspired by the colorful Rogues Gallery featured throughout the Spider-Man series of comics. Our next recipient is Vanessa Frost from North High School. Art educator is Kevin Gunn. I wanted to capture the beauty of the leaves as I took the wonderful picture using the depth of field to blur out the North High School auditorium in the background. Different lighting and camera focuses allowed me to take the picture perfect photo. Next is Abby Young from West High School. Art educator is Dave Schaefer. Tommy's Cafe is a small business, yet is one of the best breakfast spots in the Quad Cities. It is a hidden gem in Davenport. Next is Georgia Hayden from the Creative Arts Academy at Sudlow. Art educator is Heidi Hernandez. And her artist statement is, when I started this project, I was focused on the topic, what I love about Davenport. Many things came to mind, but what I found to be my favorite thing and place is the Figge Art Museum. Next recipient is Orlura Holt from Smart Intermediate. And they said, I chose Smart because I see it the most often. Art educator is Brian White. Next is a seventh grader from Sudlow, Mackenzie Snook. Art educator is Annette Eckhout Lopez. Me and my class drew a D for Davenport, and I made a total of 3 drawings before I chose this specific drawing. Next is Gabrielle Welch, 8th grader from Williams Intermediate. Mrs. Amy Reimer is art educator. And Gabrielle said, I chose to draw City Hall because every time we had to go downtown from when I was 12 to now, which has been a lot, I would see the building and always wonder what was in it. Next is Gina Kowalski from Wood Intermediate. Art educator Kelly Rolfe. I was inspired by all these places in Davenport because they remind me of my childhood. So she has quite a few different things there. Next is Sarah Wynn from Adams Elementary. Art educator, Mr. Johnson and Mr. Ryder. I honestly liked the rock patterns and I just wanted to go with a challenge. You can see the detail there. Next is Aiden Olson from Bluegrass Elementary. Art educator, Mrs. Stacy Hauk. I chose the Freight House Farmers Market because I love going there. I would definitely take someone there who is new to Iowa. Next is Isabella again, and from Buchanan Elementary. Mrs. Lisa Polin is the art educator, and she drew the Centennial Bridge because it's pretty and it reminds me of my family. We walk across it sometimes. Next is Elise Moore from Buffalo Elementary. Danielle Holder is the art educator. She said, I chose to draw the Figge Art Museum because my whole family loves art. Next is Maya Wynn from Eisenhower Elementary. And her art educator is Catherine Witherspoon, who will be accepting for Maya tonight. And Maya wrote, in Davenport, the fall leaves are always pretty. They sure are. Next is Caleb Cook from Fillmore Elementary. Derek Lum is the art educator. And Caleb writes, I chose to draw the Fairmont Library because it has unique shapes, windows, and colors. Next is Aaron Zachary from Garfield Elementary. Mrs. Sherry Smith is the art educator. And I drew this because I used to go to the bridge and take pictures. I love clouds and how they are soft and look like cotton candy. Next is Miranda Olone from Harrison Elementary. Art educator is Mrs. Laura Carter. The Figge inspired me because when I went to the Figge Museum last summer, I thought it was the best place ever. Next is another fourth grader from Hayes Elementary, Mia Torres. Mrs. Ann Ranfelt is the art educator. And Mia writes, I chose Roosevelt Park because I went there a lot as a child with my Nana and Mom. My favorite thing to do at Roosevelt Park was the swings. I am most proud of the details in my artwork to make it look cool. Next is LaMichael Knowles from Jackson Elementary. And LaMichael writes, I picked this landmark because it has a nice scene. Next is Kayla Vamilia from Jefferson Elementary. Art educator is Mrs. Lena Carter. I made the bridge because I live right by it. I like the view and when the sun sets, go down. I don't get it. Next is Acacia Roberson. Acacia is from Madison Elementary and art educator Brian Nickel. Mr. Nickel was showing slides of landmarks of the city of Davenport. I saw two slides I liked, the gazebo and the bridge, and I wanted to put them together and make an artwork as it would look like from the river at night. Next is May Pettis from McKinley Elementary. Art educator Jamie Chalice, and May writes, being inside the Sky Bridge makes me feel like I'm hovering in the sky. Next, a fourth grader from Monroe Elementary, Josue Vargas Garcia. And art educator Bailey Driscoll. My family used to go down to the river by my favorite bridge, Centennial Bridge, and I would often sit and talk with my cousins. I'd look at the pretty water and also loved how it looked at night with all the lights. Next, Terrence Ma from Truman Elementary. Aaron Hunter is the art educator. And Terrence writes, I picked the Arsenal Bridge because I like to go see the Army tanks. Next, from Walcott, Cora Matson. Art educator Danielle Holder. I drew a picture of the fountain at Vanderveer Park. I go there almost every year with my family. Next, from Washington Elementary, third grader Sophia Weston. Art educator Mrs. Ann Ranfelt. This is my shadow landscape in Davenport. I really love painting this, especially my watercolor background. I'm proud of my textured details. And from Wilson Elementary, fourth grader Timothy Culvert. Art educator Sarah Barr. I wanted to draw the bridges because they are the most interesting.
folks in front. We'll try and get from the edge of this table to the edge of that table. So taller folks could be against the backdrop there, and the little ones move up to the edge of the table here. City council stand up and kind of go in the middle. And then parents are going to be a big pick thing, so get your position.
And I will, Steve will have all the pictures I took tonight too that our teachers will get, so then they can get them to all of you guys as well. So. Oh, yeah.
And Jerry, you tell us if you can't see anybody.
Yep.
Everybody listen to this young lady right here, where to go.
There you go. All right, ready? I'm gonna take a couple, say cheese. Cheese. All right, a couple more. All right, one this way. Say cheese and don't move.
Nobody likes saying cheese, say ice cream.
Parents, get your
All right,
picture.
now hold there for parents real quick.
All right, parents. Five seconds, parents. All right, great job.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That's right, we'll get it to her.
So we're going to pause the city council meeting. If you'd like to leave now, you can. If you want to stay for the rest of the meeting, that's your choice. But I'm guessing you want to go celebrate.
That's pretty. Yeah. Sure you missed it. Thanks for staying high. Keep up the good work.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
My kid's the most sociable. He's the opposite of me. I'm like name blind and face
Which
blind.
one?
My oldest.
Okay.
He'll be walking on the sidewalk and be like, "Hey, Denny, it's Tuesday." And I'm like, "How do you know that fifth grader?" He's like, "Oh, he's in Stebbins."
And he knows him name, where he goes, what class he's taking. Yeah.
Who are you?
Staff, thanks for staying.
Let him out of the holding cell.
Yeah. The penalty box. About 10 seconds. All right, thanks everyone for our little pause and patience. Next area is petition communications. I have two. So I just want to give a little shout out on International Women's Day, of course, to my wife, 2 daughters, and daughter-in-law. They're just everything to me, so I just want to take a moment to say everything to them. But I want to read a little something about a wonderful person. So as the first female battalion commander in the 82nd Airborne Division, the first female 4-star general in American military history, General Dunwoody exemplifies the courageous and righteous attitude of all paratroopers strive to be. We thank her for her commitment and service on National or International Women's Day. Her quote, "If you compromise your integrity and principles on minor issues, it gets easier to make bad choices on the big issues." So I just wanted to draw attention to a wonderful female leader that I knew. So the other announcement that I can't express my thanks enough to the staff, to Alderman Condon, and to anybody else who was involved. We tried to find when the last time this happened, but it's been at least 23 years, well before 2000, the first time the city of Davenport has received an upgrade in its bond rating. That is the accomplishment. Thank you. That is an accomplishment that I can't express my thanks for the people who do the work. I get to be up here and say that, but to Ms. Merritt, Ms. Spiegel, and Basha, and all the wonderful people that prepared the presentation and gave Mr. Condon and I the words to somewhat be articulate in the explanation, but Moody's upgraded us to AA2. So again, at least since 2000, we can't find anything since then, and we can't find anything before, but that's the first time an upgrade, so that means so much, and Ms. Merritt, I think, will be kind enough to give us a little more explanation on the stuff next week. Thank you. So with that, okay, a whole bunch of names. Alderwoman McGinnis.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to add my congratulations. Thank you for continuing to lead us in a lean and cautious manner, fiscally, to keep this city healthy, because I know, having served on the Finance Committee for a little bit, how difficult this is. It's a huge accomplishment, and one not to be taken lightly at all. And I had wanted tonight just to mention, I had just got a notification today, and this is I'll probably be mentioning this again, but Punch, People Uniting Neighborhood and Churches, will be holding their annual Easter egg hunt. Spring is on its way. Saturday, April 8th at Cork Park. It's at 11th and Farnham. Starts at 11:30, ends at about 1 p.m. It's a wonderful event. There are all kinds of families and kids, and there's food. People sit down and have their lunch on the ground. There's an egg hunt and fantastic prizes that kids are stunned to win through a drawing. It's a really wonderful event. So if you can, if you have a kid, bring them, or if you just want to come out and see a wonderful family event, that will be April 8th, Saturday, April 8th, Cork Park, starting at 11:30 a.m. So thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you, Alderwoman McGinnis. Alderman Cornett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to state that we have a joint 7th and 8th Ward meeting tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, Eastern Library. So everybody's invited. Come on in. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Cornett. Alderman Ortiz.
Thank you, Your Honor. First, I'd like to just let the West Side Davenporters and all residents of Davenport that haven't figured it out already, we have some major construction going on over at Central Park and Hickory Grove. Please drive safe, slow, do the speed limit. Let's let the workers get the work done as fast as we can. Let's hope Mother Nature works with us. That way it's a much needed improvement. And when it's completely done, it'll do great things for the west side over there. And then second, I'd just like to give an extra shout out to all the great artists that we honored tonight. And I sadly have to admit that there are 4th graders that draw better than I do. So once again, congrats to all of them that we honored tonight. That was quite a fun event. So thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Alderman Ortiz. Alderwoman Lee.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. The topic of our ward meeting is going to be public safety, and we'll have a representative from the police department, so that's pretty exciting. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about International Women's Day. I pulled this out of the Washington Post, but as it says, as the world marks International Women's Day today, The United Nations has warned that the world is 300 years away from gender equality, with hard-won progress toward the goal vanishing, this is a quote, vanishing before our eyes. He spoke on Monday. The UN Attorney General Antonio Guterres warned that, quote, women's rights are being abused, threatened, and violated around the world. And that includes here in the United States as well. So 300 years, that's longer than the United States has been in existence. So I just wanted to give that something to contemplate, and I hope that everyone finds it in their heart to start working towards gender equality, starting with the children, but for every person. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman Lee. Alderman Condon.
Thank you, Mayor. It's awkward to an empty room now, but I think I always offer my sentiments that art in City Hall is definitely my favorite day of the year. My face hurts from smiling, and I always volunteer as well that as somebody who was a non-traditional learner growing up and always found my self-confidence in opportunities for creative endeavors and stuff that, like, don't be afraid to seek opportunity, kids. Don't be afraid to seek opportunities for leadership and being a part of something bigger than yourself because you can contribute in different ways that I have found. So this is clumsy with no one here.
Thank you, Alderman Condon. Anybody else? And I just want to, I apologize, but I should have recognized some of the wonderful leaders we have in our city, female leaders. You just look over to the left, and I challenge any other city in the state to see how many female leaders they have compared to us. Ours are outstanding, so thank you for serving Davenport. Anyone else? All right, moving on. Individual items of discussion, there is one. First consideration of an ordinance amending Schedule 11 resident parking only of Chapter 10.96 entitled Schedules by adding 6th Street along the south side from 75th 75 feet east of Ripley Street, east 80 feet thereto. Is there any public with discussion or comment? Will an alderman move first consideration? And a second. Any discussion from alder folks? Seeing none, Brian, please call roll on first consideration.
Kelly,
Yes.
Grip,
Yes.
Dickman,
Yes.
Lee,
Aye.
Dunn, Condon,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Ortez,
Yes.
Jobson,
Yes.
and Cornett. Yes. 10 yeses, Your Honor.
Thank you. That ordinance moves to second consideration. The next item, is there a motion for all items, approval of all items on consent? Brian, please call the roll for all items on consent.
Jobson,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Ortez,
Yes.
Lee, Dickman,
Yes.
Grip,
Yes.
Condon,
Yes.
Cornett,
Yes.
and Dunn.
Yes.
10 yeses, Your Honor.
Very good. Consent's approved. Next area, is there other ordinances, resolutions, or motions? There are none for tonight. Next area, is there any public with business? Okay, if there are, please come to the, all right. I'll just say this, Dale knows the rules, but I'll say them for anybody else. Please come to the podium. You'll have 5 minutes for stuff that's other than what's already been on the agenda. The microphone's above you. Please give your name, order, address. If you're not from here, love to know where you're from. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name's Dale Gilmore. I live in the 6th Ward. I hadn't planned on saying anything tonight, but when I was sitting out there and they read the proclamation for National Kidney Month, I thought I have to say something. So I made a few notes. This will be quick. This has special meaning for me. About 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with stage 3 kidney disease. Now, I prefer to call it stage 3 kidney function. My kidneys operate at 50 to 55%. Nobody's kidneys operate at 100%. 60% of the people that are at stage 3 never progress to stage 5. Stage 5 is dialysis. And again, I've been stage 3 for over 5 years. I have no intentions to go to stage 5. If you know anyone who has experienced dialysis, you're aware it's not a pleasant experience. Kidneys are the most often transplanted organ. And I would strongly suggest that everyone here consider being an organ donor. And I'd like to thank everyone who was instrumental in the proclamation. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Please, ma'am. If you have something to hand out, hand it to our clerk, and he'll take care of that. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Susan Berger, and I live in Bettendorf, but I'm here this evening as a volunteer and a representative of the Davenport School Museum located in the J.B. Young Building. I'm here to thank you, the City Council, Mr. Kyle Grip, Ms. Tiffany Thorndike, and the Community Improvement and Support Program for your support and partial funding of a plaque for the Washington School Bell Tower. This is a local landmark both to the school district and to the city of Davenport, which needed some long overdue recognition. The inscription can no longer be read, and even if it could be, it needed some explanation. When the bell tower was built and dedicated in June of 1943, almost 80 years ago, the committee hoped that a bronze tablet would someday be placed on that shrine, bearing some of the history of School Number 1. Your contribution finally made that a reality. So a little bit of background on this landmark. And listening to the art presentations tonight, we were discussing landmarks. The Davenport Independent School District was organized in 1858. In 1865, School Number 1, a two-story brick building, not a wood frame structure, was built where the current Temple Emmanuel building is located on 12th and Mississippi. It was the first public tax-supported school in Davenport. In 1908, it was decided to name the schools after the presidents in order, so number 1 became Washington. In 1940, 6 new schools were opened, including the current Washington on Locust and Eastern Avenues, replacing several older buildings, including the old number 1, the old Washington. Students, teachers, and alumni formed a committee and raised funds to build a memorial to perpetuate the memory of the old Washington. The frontispiece stone, which you can see on the pictures, can no longer be read, came from the belfry of the old school and says, Subdistrict Number 1, AD 1865. I've seen pictures from that time period, and the inscription, I believe, is the original that came off the building. The stones that form the base of the bell tower are from the foundation of that old building. The timbers that support the bell that would have summoned students to school for many years, are also from the old Washington, the old number 1. The only thing that is not from that old building is a roof that protects the structure. The plan is to have this plaque installed this spring. If there's a recognition ceremony, maybe in conjunction with the closing of the current Washington, I'll let you know and hope you all can attend. And please come visit us at the Davenport School Museum. Concluding, thank you very much for your contribution. It is greatly appreciated.
Thank you. Anyone else?
And this is the plaque.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is James Cosby Gibson, AKA Dogman. I live in the 8th Ward on West 66th Street. And I've come to try to put my name in the hat about the land that's in back of me belonging to Mid-America. I've heard that somebody is trying to purchase it, and I want to be one of those somebodies that at least have a chance to purchase it or look into it to purchase it. So I would appreciate if the council's working with the Mid-America. I don't know whether they are or not, or who's working with them, but I appreciate adding my name to the list. So, and I also have to say, and not trying to single anybody out, but I promised some people that I would give a shout out to Alderman Lee, Alderwoman Lee, Alderman Dunn, and Tim Kelly. Those people said thank you for listening to their complaints and trying to help them with their problems. So I've spoke my piece, and thank you, Council.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any other reports? Motion to adjourn? Motion and second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Have a good weekend. Pay attention to the weather tomorrow. Night.